Today we're going to be talking about the average height and 40 time for wide receivers based on their age. We're going to talk about the average height first, and so honestly guys, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on your height, especially if you haven't developed yet. We're going to be talking about 7th through 12th grade, so that's 7th, 8th, and then all the high school grades in terms of average height, and then we'll get into 40-yard dash times and why that, isn't as important because there's so many technical aspects that tie into the 40. But let's talk about our height because this is a common question that we get asked by a lot of people is, hey coach, I'm XYZ height, am I tall enough to play receiver? But guys, the good news is a receiver, there are multiple receiver positions. You have a slot receiver and an outside receiver. So slot receivers are generally on the shorter side of things. Outside receivers are on the taller side of things. But really you should be able to play both as a wide receiver. I think knowing both positions can only help you. You look at a guy like Davante Adams, Justin Jefferson, they're playing out of the slot, they're playing on the outside, they're playing everywhere. So you should still know both, but just know that you're not doomed if you don't fit this like average quote unquote. This is just from all the intel that we've gathered from working with athletes across the country. We do camps every year, we travel across the country, we see a lot of receivers. And so this is generally what you would, I guess you could say the height average. But if you're below this average, it's not the end of the world, guys. That just means that you have to work on certain things. Shorter guys, you have to be better than the taller guys at the little details. Speed, route running, catching, knowing your playbook. So just know if you're undersized, that's where you can make up for that, okay? So now if you're in 7th grade, I would say probably average height is probably like 5'5", right? Then 8th grade, I'd probably say like 5'7". Freshman in high school, I would say average height is probably around like 5'9" to 5'10". Then if you're in 10th grade, probably like 5'11". And then 11th and 12th grade, when you're on varsity, junior, senior, I'd probably say like 6 foot to 6'2". So those are generally the averages that you will see. And again, I'm basing that off of all the receivers that we ultimately see and work with. But if you're undersized, not the end of the world, you guys. You just have to focus on the little details of the position. Now, like we mentioned you guys earlier, we travel across the country every year for 15 different quarterback and wide receiver camps. If you guys would like to attend one of our camps this year, check out that very first link in the description below. That's all the cities that we are going to be traveling to, and that is where you can sign up. All of our camps last year, fellas, sold out within the first 2 to 3 months of us releasing the dates, and this is our first official week where we have released the dates to everybody. So guys, we're going to be coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, Seattle, Washington. Then we'll be heading out to Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama. Then we'll be coming out to Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you want some information, if you want to sign up, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there. Let's get back to this video. Now let's talk about the 40 time, you guys. So honestly, the 40 time, I think is all crap. I really don't think that it's that important for you just because but unfortunately that's how a lot of people measure speed in football. So that's why we're talking about it. And especially if you're a skill position player, there is some weight. But me personally, if I was a scout, I probably wouldn't look at a guy's 40 time. I would rather judge him off of like miles per hour, to be 100% honest with you. And how fast is he moving when he's got pads on in an exact game? But ultimately, I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the one who scouts all the talent. That's college coaches and different combine guys all over the place. And I'm not saying they don't know what they're talking about, but that's just what they look for. And they want to see what your 40 time is if you're a wide receiver, but they don't necessarily believe it because I know what all you guys are probably going to comment on this video is like, oh, I run a 4.4, I run a 4.5. You probably don't because a lot of people lie about their 40-yard dash. So college coaches won't take your word for it. They're going to need to see you do it at a camp, a combine, or a video of it, right? So with that being said, I would say generally, and again, if you're not fitting the averages for the 40-yard dash in this specific video, all that means is that you got to work on other aspects of your game, like blocking, like catching, like route running, knowing your playbook, and ultimately work on your speed because speed is something you could control, unlike your height, which is what you can't control, okay? So if you're in 7th grade, I would probably say your 40-yard dash should be like a 5.5. I think that's generally a good range, maybe like a 5.3. 5.3 to 5.5 is probably a good range for you if you're in 7th grade. If you're in 8th grade, I would probably say like a 5 flat, maybe like a 5.1. If you're a freshman in high school, you should start be getting underneath that 5 flat, so like 4.9, 4.8. If you're in 10th grade, 11th grade, I would say like probably a 4.7. And then if you're a 12th grade wide receiver that wants to play college football, I would say probably a 4.6 or below. Now again, some of you might think that that's a little bit slow, but I'm talking like laser time, true and true, that's what your 40 is. So if you're not there yet, don't worry, you guys. If you're not there yet with the height that we discovered in this or discussed in this video, don't worry. There are other things that you could add to your game as a receiver that might carry even a little bit more weight.